Talk about the Talmud. This is going to be a longer video, and I already know that there's going to be so many hate comments, so many of them. Even if I could give every answer in the world, and it won't satisfy the people that like hating on the Talmud. They have eyes, but they refuse to see. You see, you got me quoting Christian lore. Like, that's how crazy this goes, right? But yeah, let's dive into the Talmud and like give a context of what it is, why it was created, and about alleged things that are said in there, right? So the Talmud was created to essentially give, to expound on certain parts of the Torah that are sort of not really, that have very broad areas. One example is, it says that you're not allowed to cut the five corners of your face, right? And that's where Jews get the law of not being able to shave your beard. But some Jews do shave their beards, right? So the Talmud is essentially just a bunch of rabbis expounding on that, trying to get to a common ground. Like, for instance, okay, it says the five corners of your face, but like, what does that even mean, right? And could you use nair? Is that considered cutting, right? So a lot of those questions pop up because it gives very basic things in the Torah, and you need to know. They're trying to figure out what all the cases that stem from that, right? What are the laws? So the Talmud is just basically a bunch of rabbis figuring that out, and there's tens of thousands of cases that are brought up of them trying to find common ground on something, and they'll say all sorts of crap. Majority of it gets shoved to the side. The Talmud is not a rule book. No, I remember someone was saying, like, are you a Talmudic Jew? Do you follow Talmudic Judaism? And I'm like, what the hell is that? No, that's not, but no one follows that. If you use the Talmud as like a book of law, like that's not Judaism like whatsoever. It's essentially like Jewish Reddit in book form. That's how I'd say it. There could be anything on there, right? And you can easily find things that people take out of context on there. You see it a lot on Twitter. You'll see screenshots with quotes from the Talmud of saying like these like heinous things, like that Jews see people that aren't Jewish as animals, and that Jesus is like in hell boiling in poop. None of those things exist in the Talmud, by the way. And it stems from original sources being taken out of context, and then word of mouth, and then that word of mouth being put on Twitter, and then someone seeing the Twitter. They don't even, like, majority of these guys have never opened a Talmud. They don't understand the complexity of it, and that majority of it is just not even, it's just sort of like hearsay. It's just like thrown to the side. Majority of it isn't even taken as law. Imagine like a bunch of dudes having a conversation trying to get to something. That's what the Talmud is. There's so much random crap in there. So they'll just take that random verse, and be like, yeah, all Jews believe this. Like, no, what are you talking about? Also, these verses that are thrown around on Twitter don't exist. So I encourage you, right, to go to www.talmud.faithweb.com, not sponsored, and it's pretty much a website that debunks every single one of these quotes that literally don't even exist in the Talmud. And like, I've shown these to people. I'm like, yeah, well, you said like that doesn't, it's not even in the Talmud. And like, they'll choose to just be like, but this, like they'll choose to hate, So I understand that by saying that it's not really gonna have an impact on people that just don't like Jews, but hopefully it could give clarification for many people that are like, oh, I saw this thing on Twitter that looks crazy. Every single crazy verse you find in the Talmud that you see on Twitter does not exist. I can vouch for that 100%. Like blatantly, like what it says. Like, imagine there's like a quote. Imagine you're reading a book, right? And like a character said in the book, like, oh, imagine I hated Jews. That'd be crazy. And then someone just copied the part that said I hate Jews and then put it on Twitter. That's essentially what's going on when people quote the Talmud out of context. But even with all of that and all the answers you could give about what things are said in the Talmud, it's not a book of law. No one uses it as a rule book. Like, it's just people yapping about stuff. Like, the book of law is just not even, it says something completely different, No one follows the Talmud for like majority of Jews don't even learn Talmud, and these guys think that like there's Talmudic Judaism. Like, it's just stupid, and it's hilarious seeing how far people go to just honestly not like Jews. Once again, www.talmud.faithweb.com. It will answer every question you have about the Talmud. It has all the verses in there with all the explanation and context. The Talmud is a complex thing to learn. You can't just Google, you can't just go on Safaria, which is one of these websites, and just learn the Talmud verbatim. It takes people like me and like many respected rabbis. It could take days to go through a single page. It's a lot of complexity. There's a lot of hidden words that through commentary, which has to be read with the Talmud. The commentary is a part of it. They're literally in the Talmud sometimes. All of that is extremely important to even understand what it's saying. It's very complex. So when they just strip a random part that and just throw it on Twitter and they add a few words, it's honestly it's like a smack in the face to what the Talmud actually is, which is essentially just people expanding on the Torah and trying to figure out more vague subjects. Majority of it is just the most boring thing, how many walls is considered a hut, and measurements. It's majority of it's very boring, but and you'll have the most random ass stories in there that are they true? I don't know. Yeah, I'll see. And then people will say, oh, it's talking about Jesus. What are you talking about? And yes, that website, that Talmud.faithweb.com answers that as well. Sorry, it's a long video. But my computer freaking turned off. That's how long this video was. I'm trying to, and I know people are not going to listen to this. They're I already know they don't they're still going to comment. But it says this, but it says that. I can tell you right now, even if we said it exists in the Talmud, which it doesn't, but even if it did, majority of Jews don't. Do you see Jews believe in this shit? No, we don't believe any of that crap. It's dumb. And then they try to, and then it gets to the whole conspiracy thing with Zionism and a Talmud, and it's okay, what's going on? We believe everyone's equal in the eyes of God because God made everyone in His image. I love everybody, so not racist. Yeah.